Mario Andretti is the only person to have won all of the major Grand Prix race car competitions, the Indianapolis, the Daytona, and the Formula One. After winning 111 competitions spanning 5 decades, he retired in 1994 to open his own winery in Napa Valley. Mario joins me today to talk about that. Welcome, Mario.
Thank you. Thanks, Natalie, for having me.
My pleasure. Well, let's go back a little bit to the beginning, so to speak. You grew up in Italy, and I wondered if wine was a big part of your family meals there.
Oh, absolutely. As you could imagine, this was a daily ritual with our, with lunch and with dinner and so forth. Now, did I prefer that? I had no choice. There was no soda pop available. As a young lad, probably I would have preferred something sweeter and all of that. Maybe not as healthy. But the bottom line is, I remember clearly that I used to blend. I used to blend a red wine, like 90% water, and then I would give the water color, and that tasted better for me. So again, the appreciation for wine didn't really set in until I was I'd say in my late 20s.
Okay. And at the same time...
curiosity, so to speak. Yeah.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. And at the same time, in your childhood, did you show an early interest in racing cars or cars in general?
That for sure. That for sure. I think, they always say no one is born with a steering wheel in their hands, but I think I was the only one maybe that was, because I have no idea. I still sort of rack my brains thinking as to why I became sort of possessed with this idea of racing cars, where the family at the time didn't even own a car. And there were not many cars in that town, perhaps, even. So, but for some reason, it captured my imagination and my brother's, my twin brother, Aldo. And it seemed like all it did, it got stronger and stronger as we obviously grew and got older. And I had that deep passion, that's it. That's how I was born with for some reason.
Did you and your brother race go-karts or anything like that?
Well, go-karts in those days were not available for sure. But the town of Montona is a beautiful little town, medieval town up on a hill. So there were plenty of hills. And we used to just career down these hills with a little buggy, just a flat thing with wheels on and running over old ladies and all that sort of thing.
So you got a taste for speed.
Absolutely. But again, and this was all about going fast as possible and things like that. Sometimes even at night, I still dream about that, doing this in Montana, when I was just 6, 7 years of age.
Wow, that's terrific. And so then let's move back to wine again. When did you first get the appreciation for wine? You talked about your late 20s or your early 30s. Where were you when you started really saying, hey, this is something I've got to explore?
It was more likely when I started traveling a great deal through my work and being exposed, going to fine restaurants and having great dinners with interesting people, and then curiosity sets in. You're in South Africa, and I'm ordering French wines, and the journalist says, "Why are you ordering French wines? We're in South Africa." So then, okay. And then you start, I'm enjoying some of these South African wines. Then I'm in Argentina. It's great Malbecs there. So, and on and on. Of course, Europe. You can be in Spain and enjoy great Spanish wines. And that's how it started. And more and more, you just acquire that taste that obviously, you enjoy. And then to get back actually to this curiosity factor, I tell this story a million times, but you have to hear it again because it was very meaningful from the standpoint of learning or just having this curiosity about Napa Valley wines, for instance.
Right.
I was hosting an international, well, group, obviously 6 or 7 of us, and all from different countries. There was the Brit, there was the Belgian, there was the Frenchman, and the Italian, and so here I am in Newport Beach, California, with just the weekend prior to the Long Beach Grand Prix back in the early 70s, about 75, and so I'm ordering French wines again. And the Brit says to me, Mario, we're in California. Why are you ordering French wines? I said, okay. I said, Ken Tiro was this gentleman's name. He owned Jackie Stewart's team. So I said, you order. So he ordered California wines, of course. And the reason for that is because he, as an aficionado, was obviously learning more and more about California wines. And this was just about the time where they really hit the international scene. The exposure was on the international arena. And so, again, I figured I got to find out about California wines.
Is that what convinced you to make wine in California as opposed to Italy?
Well, I think it was much more practical for me to do it in California because for many reasons. Number one, I would visit that more often, and again, I even have another business in California, so it's just again more practical. And again, it was never a master plan. It was about me getting involved as a winery owner. This is something that happened along the way, and it just started the last year that I was actually active in the sport in Indy cars, which was 1994, was my retirement year, and our PR firm decided to call this year the Arrivederci Tour, and all of the venues had something. We had something going, a reception, a dinner, or something, and they did a deal with a local Luis Martini winery to do a one-time label, and you could only do that as a sports figure. You could only do that one time. And so we chose a 1991 cab, and that had my picture on it and all that sort of thing, and that was it. So, but the interesting part about this was that they bottled something like 18,000 cases of this wine.
Wow.
And it was sold out. It was sold out by like August of that year. So I said, oh, God, this is fun. Here I have my own wine and all of that. And so I had a meeting with the Martini folks, and I said, you know what, I'd like to continue this. I would probably choose a varietal of yours, and we'll put my label on it, and I continued it. Somehow they didn't really understand what I was trying to do, or they felt maybe they felt threatened. I don't know, but they didn't get the joke, I guess. And so the folks that I was dealing with at the time, they decided to spend more time in Napa Valley, and a property became available. And so, okay. Then the next question was, would I be interested, in getting involved? And the initial opportunity was just to do a licensing deal,
right?
Not to own it. And I did that. I was against the advice of my manager, but I did that, and I think he was correct because for some reason I didn't have the control of the company, and I wasn't really pleased the way things were presented, the way things were being done. It was somewhat underfunded, so obviously, I didn't like that, and so I just called him my old friend and former head of Kmart, which was one of the major sponsors, the major sponsor of the team that I drove for Paul Newman and Carl Haas, when I retired. Mm-hmm. And he had retired, so I said, how would you like to own a winery? And he said, well, that's interesting. He's from Detroit. And so we migrated to Napa Valley, and so we bought the winery. We had some investors that were already part of it. We kept them on; they're still with us. But Joe and I have the major interest of the winery, so we had the control. So here we are.
There you are. Wow, special in aisle 6. Lots of good wines being produced between the two of you. Now, what satisfaction do you get from winemaking, Mario, that you didn't get from race car driving?
Well, the satisfaction you get is different, of course. I mean, race car driving was something that I was hands-on. I felt that I had full control of, and all that. It doesn't mean that I don't have some control of what's going on, but I am not the engineer here. The engineer is Bob Pepe, the winemaker, and the thing is, the one good thing is that he and I, right from the very beginning, we just agreed on styles of wines, and the satisfaction ultimately is enjoying what I'm drinking and watching other people do the same, give you that smile, that nod of approval. That's what it's all about. I mean, there's nothing more delicate than the palate, as far as I'm concerned. So when someone, whether they're experienced experts in wine or even first-timers, it's what tastes good to you, to your palate, that's important. And when you get that nod of approval, God, you feel good. You feel obviously proud, of course, and that's really what it's all about. I mean, that's your payback in so many ways.
That's quite different from the world of race car driving, where you either win or you lose. There's a time, a very definite time, whereas the world of wine is very subjective. Did you find that hard to deal with?
Well, it's a tough business in many ways because again, there's so many factors that play. Even weather, for that matter, they're out of your control. And but again, challenges are always welcome in our life, and I think it's a matter of mastering all of the potential negatives and making them into positives. Again, there are correlations, between the two, but again, it's all about teamwork. No matter whether you're making wine or whether you're driving a race car. Driving a race car, I'm the one that benefits through having a perfect race car under me, something that obviously I can win with. In the wine business, I look really good if Bob Pepe creates something that is delicious in a bottle. That's what it is, and that's what I derive. My satisfaction, of course, to be part of that. And so there we are.
There we are, and here we are at the end of part 1 of our conversation. Thank you. We're going to come right back to you and continue this interesting chat. I love the parallels between the two different worlds that you've lived in. So thank you for this, Mario, and we'll be back soon.